Good morning, friends. All of you are sitting actually in your homes, and with the help of this technology, we are trying to share ideas with you. This is a very unique situation, and the entire world is suffering, the whole mankind is suffering. And in such situation, I remember when everything is locked down, there are so many problems, hardship, constraints. In this situation, I remember a mythological story. And I would like to share first this mythological story. I hope you have all seen this picture from your childhood. Here is the story of Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu and Narsimha. I will not narrate the story. Hiranyakashipu was the father of Prahlad. Prahlad always chanted the name Narayan, Lord Vishnu. But his father, Hiranyakashipu, did not like it. Hiranyakashipu he had received some boons, blessings. In order to make himself death proof, he was blessed with some boons, some blessings. Now what did Hiranyakashipu ask for? He wanted to make himself death proof. All of you know waterproof, windproof, bulletproof. So similarly, this Hiranyakashipu had made himself death proof. He did not want to die, and he had taken some assurances from the God. And what were the assurances? He said that he should not meet the death, or nobody would kill him in the house or outside the house. Nobody would be able to kill him during the daytime or at the night time. Neither on the ground nor in the air, neither by human being nor by any animal, neither by any weapons. So he had made himself almost death proof. But in spite of fortifying himself and making himself death proof, Lord Vishnu, Bhagwan Vishnu, he came out with a brilliant idea or a solution. And without breaching or without violating the conditions of Hiranyakashipu, Bhagwan Vishnu managed to kill Hiranyakashipu. So what Hiranyakashipu said, he would not be killed by animals or by man. So that's why Bhagwan Vishnu, he came in the form of half lion and half man. Then Hiranyakashipu said, nobody would kill me during the daytime or the night time. So the time which was chosen by Lord Vishnu to kill Hiranyakashipu was dusk time. It was late evening, neither night nor the day. Then he had also taken one more assurance, that he would not be killed by any weapons. So Vishnu did not use any weapons. He used his nails. Then he said that he would not meet death on the ground or in the air. So that's why Bhagwan Vishnu took him in his lap, that is neither on the ground nor in the air. Then one more assurance, he would not face death neither in the house nor in the house or outside the house. And that's why Bhagwan Vishnu chose the place. And which is that place? That place is the threshold of the house. It was neither in the house nor outside the house. Now why I am narrating this story? This story is very apt, very appropriate in the present context. What I want to say is, whatever may be the conditions, whatever may be the difficulties, problems, whatever may be the hardship, whatever may be the blocks, there is always somewhere a loophole. There is always somewhere a way out. Bhagwan Vishnu actually gave a message for all of us long back, that whatever difficulties, problems, hardships, adversities you face, there is always a way out. He has given his own example. So today, when we are sitting in our homes with many constraints, limitations, adversities, hardship, so many. You should not go out. Everywhere there is a lockout. So in spite of all this adversity, there is an opportunity. There was a stone in the middle of the road, and there two people came from two opposite directions. The person who came from this side, he saw that stone and he says, he grumbled. And he says, he complained, he grumbled, and he says, this is a stumbling block in my road. The person who came from this side, he also saw the same stone and he exclaimed. He was very happy. And he says, oh, great. This is a stepping stone. The stone is same, but one person views it as a stumbling block, the other person views it as a stepping stone. So today, when we are locked down in the houses and there is adversity which has swept the whole world, this adversity for some people is an opportunity. And the people who are with negative mindset, for them this is an adversity. Friends, actually all our mythological stories, if you take Ramayana, Mahabharata and all the scriptures, they are very much relevant even today. They are very much relevant even today. We can get lessons to fight the present situation. We can get guidance and help from all these things to come across the difficulties and problems. So even if you are at home now, the teachers in your college, they are trying to come out with some solution, opportunity in adversity. Okay? So, we are taking, the teachers are taking the help of the technology to reach each and every student, not only of Vidya Prabodhini College, but of Goa. I am very much grateful to the team of the teachers who have given me an opportunity to share my views. First of all, many people are now tired, sick, disgusted, and everybody says, Vaz. Actually, this Mr. Vaz and Mrs. Kantala, this is a couple. Mr. Vaz, go, Anitachi Bayal, Mrs. Kantala. So, when these two people come to a house, do not allow them to enter your house. Do not allow them to enter your mind. So, topic today is learn to learn. Learn to learn. You are sitting in the cozy, comfortable corners of your house. Your teachers, they come to the college, and with the help of technology they are trying to offer you something. Now it is up to you whether to grab the opportunity or let it go. Even in this situation you can learn, and actually after some days, after some years, the age will be bifurcated into pre-COVID era and post-COVID era. The life in pre-COVID, the life post-COVID, the education before COVID and education after COVID, the nature of the schools and colleges before COVID and the nature of the schools and colleges after COVID. And we have to keep pace with this. I remember Darwin, who has said once, it's not the strongest or the most intelligent species that will survive. Who will survive in this situation? He says it's not the most intelligent or the strongest of the species that will survive. Then who will survive? He says those who are ready to change will survive. Those who are not ready to change, they will not survive. Please remember, friends, the age of average is now over. Average man will not survive. Average person will not survive. You have to rise above average level. If you fail to rise above average level, you will become redundant, outdated. You will fail. So now it is for you to decide how you will learn. And for any person in any situation, if you have a strong desire, you can learn. I remember one gentleman who said very beautifully, no one can teach him who does not wish to learn. I repeat, no one can teach him who does not wish to learn. One who is not interested in learning, one who does not wish to learn, he will not learn. So the person who does not want to learn, he will not survive. He will become redundant, outdated. In Konkani we call it bhangar, scrap. So now it is for you to decide whether you are going to excel or you are going to become a scrap. And COVID test, it's not the physiological test or the health test. You have to stand on this test of COVID in the sense that whether you want to survive. I remember one more picture actually that is also from the life of Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Bhagwan Sri Krishna, you must have seen, he was a very small young kid and they were playing on the bank of that Yamuna and ball or something fell into the river and little small Krishna, Bal Kanaya, he plunged into the river. And then he fought with this Kaliya, and then ultimately you must have seen the picture wherein Sri Krishna is standing on the head of Kaliya with his tail in one hand and flute in another hand, and he is dancing to the tune of the flute. Now this is not merely, this picture is so inspiring. It is so much motivational for me. Kaliya stands for calamity. There will be many calamities. If you give in, you will perish. You will perish. But if you fight the calamity, and that's what Bhagwan Krishna has taught us through that particular episode. He is standing on the head of Kaliya, that is, he is standing on the head of the calamity, danger, and taming the danger, taming the calamity. So today we have to tame this COVID. Today we have to tame this present situation and come out and bounce out of it like phoenix bird. Friends, all these days, all these years, you were attending the colleges. But now, it is time for all us to introspect. Introspect in the sense we have to ask a question to ourselves, am I really interested in studies? Am I really eager to learn? If you are eager to learn, if you are interested in studies, no one can stop you. And here I would like to quote Swami Vivekananda. You can see that no one was ever really taught by another. Each one of us has to teach himself. In this world, one person is never taught by another person. And what has been said by Vivekananda is again endorsed by Maharishi Yogi Arvinda Ghosh. This is something very beautiful. He says, the first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. The first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. This has to be kept in mind by the students as well as the teachers. So what is the role of the teacher? Yogi Arvinda says, the teacher is not an instructor or taskmaster, he is a helper and a guide. His business is to suggest and not to impose. He does actually train the pupil's mind. He only shows him how to perfect the instruments of knowledge. And for me, this is very important. What is the role of the teacher? Teacher will show you how to perfect the instruments of knowledge. The instruments of knowledge are given to us by God. They are inbuilt. Teacher only shows you how to perfect these instruments, how to sharpen these instruments of knowledge, and encourages him in the process. He does not impart knowledge to him. He shows him how to acquire knowledge for himself. So teachers, what is the role of teacher? Not to give, not to impart knowledge to the students, but to show the students how to get knowledge, how to acquire knowledge. That is the role of the teacher. And that is actually the teachers should restrict themselves only to this role. Unfortunately, many times it so happened that there is a spoon feeding in our schools and colleges. Everything is ready-made and prepared by the teachers and professors and given to the students. And that's the reason why, in spite of talent, in spite of intelligence, our students are lagging behind, trailing behind. We are nowhere compared to many students of the world. It's not only Vivekananda and Maharishi Arvinda Ghosh. All great men of the world, they have the same opinion. Must have all of you heard the name of Galileo, the great scientist. See what he says. You cannot teach a man anything. Galileo says, you cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. You cannot teach a man anything. Every man has been given the capacity, it is inherent in the person. Teacher helps to find it within the students. And then another great scientist of the world, Albert Einstein, he says, I never teach people anything. I only create conditions in which they learn themselves. Actually, this is the role of the teacher, not to teach, only to create the conditions. The role of the teacher is to create conducive learning environment in the school or college, and the role of the parents is to create conducive learning environment in the home. That's all. आपको सीखना है तो आपकी मर्जी. If you are to learn, you have to, it is said, every person has to carry his own cross. So you have to carry your own cross. Your father, your teachers, they will not carry cross for you. Say again what Clay Bedford says. You can teach a student a lesson for a day. But if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he lives. The teacher who teaches the everyday lessons, as I said earlier, it is spoon feeding. And this is actually not the responsibility of the teacher to teach him. You can teach a student a lesson for a day. But what is more important? But if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue learning process as long as he lives. Learning is a lifelong process. Unfortunately, today's scenario is, somebody has described, when we learn, we do not earn. When we are studying in the colleges and schools, when we are learning, we do not earn. This is not a situation in America and other countries. The students, even during vacation in America, they do some work. But in our country, students, they think that it is only their task, their responsibility is to only to learn, and everything should be provided to them by the teachers and the parents. This is wrong. This is wrong. So, Clay Bedford, again, Henry Doherty, another thinker, he says, get over the idea that only children should spend their time in study. Yes, I just missed a link. Today the situation is, when we learn, we do not earn. And then when we start earning, you know what happens? I need not tell you. When we earn, we do not learn. The moment we start earning, we think that, okay, now money is coming. I'm getting a salary, thousands and lakhs. Why should I learn anything more? When we learn, we do not earn. When we earn, we do not learn. Education, learning is a lifelong process. We have to learn till we breathe our last. So then comes Henry Doherty. He says, get over the idea that only children should spend their time in study. And see what he says. Be a student so long as you still have something to learn. And this will mean all your life. Dr. Will Durant, the great American historian who has written the history of almost all the countries of the world. See what he says. The person who wrote the history of the world, he says, 60 years ago, I knew everything. Today, I know nothing. Now, what does it mean? 60 years ago, when he was a young man, there was ego. 60 years ago, there was ego. And this ego, because of this ego, the people feel, I know everything. I'm highly educated. I'm highly qualified. But then as he went on learning, studying, then he realized, after 6 years, he says that today I know nothing. I know nothing. I remember another quote, another thought. The more I read, the more I know how little I know. When we learn more, when we read more, we discover our own ignorance. And what is education? Education is a progressive discovery of our ignorance. Education is a progressive discovery of our ignorance. So this learning to learn is important. What is the importance? What is the significance? See, today we are studying in the schools and colleges. We have some curriculum, we have some syllabus, we have some books. When these books were written? Were they written yesterday? Were they written last year? These books that we follow, the curriculum syllabus that we follow, those books were written some 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now, the matter in that books, again it is old. Again it is old. Are you getting my point? See, the matter is 20 years old. This matter was incorporated in the books 10 years ago. These books which are written 10 years ago, we are following these books. Just imagine, we are following something outdated which is at least 20 years old. At least 20 years old. Okay, we cannot change the books every now and then, every year. But whatever we are studying, whatever it is there in the books, it is not the final. It has to be refreshed. There has to be some addition. There has to be some deletion. You know, Alvin Toffler, the great American thinker and writer, he said it once. Who is the illiterate of the 21st century? It was in olden times we used to say one who does not know read and writing, he was considered to be illiterate. Okay? That concept of illiteracy is gone now. Now there was another concept of illiterate. What was it? Those who do not know how to make use of this technology, computer, we say computer illiterate, computer literate. But here, Alvin Toffler says, who is illiterate? Not one who cannot read and write, not one who does not know anything about a computer and technology. Then who is illiterate? He says, please remember, listen very carefully. The illiterate of the 21st century is a person who does not know how to learn, unlearn and relearn. One who does not know how to learn, unlearn and relearn. Some concepts which we are studying, which were developed or which emerged some 5 years ago, now these concepts are becoming outdated, redundant, so we have to unlearn it. Unlearn. And once this is unlearned, we have to relearn. So learn, unlearn and relearn is a continuous process. And this is also because the rate of new information which is generating, you'll be surprised, you'll be shocked to know the rate of new information which is doubling every 6 months. We are now, today is 2nd July. The information which is available today on 2nd July, if you compare this information with that of 1st January 2020, in 6 months, the information has become double. And most of you, what you learn today will be obsolete in 2 years. Whatever we are learning today, that will become obsolete in 2 years. And that is the reason why, if at all we have to learn throughout the year, throughout the life, the most important skill that I have to acquire, the most important skill that I have to master is the skill of learning. And that is what we have seen in the very first slide. Learn to learn. Learn to learn. Okay? If you do not learn to learn, you will become outdated. Actually, all the people, every person, you are all genius. You are divine. And genius is your birthright. It is a gift from God. This is a gift which is given to us by God. We have to make best use of it. The other day I came across a beautiful thought which says, what we are is God's gift to us. What we are is God's gift to us. What we become is our gift to God. Now God has given the gift. When you go to a birthday party or some wedding party or anywhere, you give some present and then the host, he also gives you return gift, isn't it? So God has given us the gift. What is the return gift from us? This is the question. What is the return gift to God from us? God is not asking, God is not expecting materialistic gift from you. God is expecting is, what God is expecting is, He says, I have given you this much, develop it and give me back. What we are is God's gift to us. What we become is our gift to God. God has given us life. God has given us talent. God has given us energy. God has given us this beautiful body. God has given us so many things. Now whatever God has given us, we must make best use of it, and that is the gift to the God. That's all. Unfortunately, all human beings use only 2% of their capacity, of their brain capacity. Just 2%. Just 2%. Okay? And that's why Thomas Edison had once said, so what is intelligence? Intelligence is like a muscle. If you do not use the muscles, you lose it. That's why use it or lose it. You're all genius. But what is the definition of genius according to Thomas Edison? He says genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So this is a brain is a priceless gift which has given to us by God. But do we make use of it? Do we use it to the optimum level? No. Look at the brain, the beautiful gift which is given to us by the God. If you go into the details of this brain, you will be surprised, you will be shocked, and you will also be very happy, and also definitely you will also be very proud that God has given me such a beautiful thing, brain. Brain has trillions of brain cells. There are hundreds of billions of neurons in the thinking brain. There are approximately 20,000 possible connections between the neurons. There are 8 different types of intelligence, as said by Professor Howard Gardner. There are 3 basic learning modalities: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So this is what God has given us. Okay, I will not go into the details of this brain. This is what we have. This is what we have. You must have seen some children here in Parvari. There is a school, Sanjay School. If you visit the school, you will find that poor children, they are lacking in something. But you people, you are not lacking in the things which they are lacking. They do not have the things, so they cannot make they do not have it, that's why they cannot make use of it. We have it and still we do not make use of it. That is the most unfortunate part of the life. Very unfortunate. Some people do not have mentally retarded children, they do not have. So since they do not have, the question of using them does not arise. But we people, we have it and still we are not using it. This is most unfortunate. This is most unfortunate. Okay, many times we teachers and your parents also, sometimes they blame you, they curse you, they accuse you, and they use one word. They say you are useless. I don't agree with them. You are not useless, but the fact is you use less. You use less. Now what is study? Study means doing same thing again and again, again and again, again and again, continuously. Doing it repeatedly. That is actually the study. Now let us see some points about study. Begins before you open the book and continues even after you close the book. When you study, ask these 3 questions to yourself before you enter into the classroom or before you enter into the book. Ask these 3 questions to yourself. The first question: what do I know about this particular topic which will be taught or which I am going to learn? Do I know anything about it? Preliminary knowledge. What do I not know about that particular topic? For example, let us take one example. COVID-19 is a topic. The first question we have to ask, I have to study COVID-19. So what I have to do? I have to ask 3 questions. What do I know about COVID? First question. Second question, what do I not know about COVID? Third question, what do I want to know about COVID? Now if you have 3 questions before you start any topic, what do I know about it? What do I not know about it? And what do I want to know about it? If you have these 3 pointed questions in your mind before you start studying anything, you will remain focused when you are reading the book or you are attending the lecture. Your mind will not waver here and there. You will remain focused, and this will also help you to concentrate. Now there are also enemies of good studies. Which are the different enemies of good studies? The first one is fear. The first one is fear. All of us, we have 2 types of fears: fear of failure and fear of being laughed at. And these 2 fears, in other words, these are 2 chains in our limbs which are holding us back: fear of failure and fear of being laughed at. Then there are many distractions like TV, cricket, and so on. Then very low esteem, self-esteem. Many people do not have trust or faith in themselves. The self-esteem is very low. If you think you can do, you can do it. If you think you cannot do, you cannot do it. So what do you think about yourself? This is, if your self-esteem is very low, this is one of the greatest enemy. Plan. Many people do not have the plan. If you have the plan, you will become successful. Plan your work and work out the plan. Many times people have plan. They prepare the plan, they prepare the timetable. Okay, but then plan has to be executed. When it comes to execution, many people fail. Beautiful plan, but no execution. Poor concentration. This is the greatest obstacle. Vivekananda said once, if I have to go back to the school and college, I will not study the subjects like history, chemistry, geometry, poetry. I will not study such subjects at all. And then he says, I will try to master only one thing, that is concentration. Nothing else, only concentration. Actually, the level of Vivekananda's concentration was so high, he used to read one page at one glance. He never read a word, he never read sentence, he never read a paragraph. He read one page at a glance. And in spite of this, he says, if I have to go back to the school and college, I will not study any subjects like history, chemistry, geometry, poetry. I shall study only one thing, it is concentration. This is the greatest enemy of ours. This is the greatest enemy. That many people, they do not have the will to succeed. This is also that. Low willpower, no will to succeed. Stress. Even today, the people are experiencing stress. Great amount of stress is being experienced. And stress, to certain extent, to certain levels, stress is also required. Some people do not have stress, they live stress-free life. Stress-free life is also not correct. There should be some amount of stress of studies, but that stress should not be too much. Okay? Negative attitude. Many people have negative attitude, and so they fail. Inertia or lethargy is also one of the enemy. Actually, if you look at all these enemies just perused, you will come to the conclusion that my enemy is not outside. My enemy is in me. In other words, I am my greatest enemy. Nobody else. Now this attitude is very important. It matters. So many examples could be given. Positive attitude, winning attitude, and attitude of gratitude. These three things are very important. Recently I came across one. They are actually nowadays, thanks to this Facebook and other social media, they provide us many motivational, inspirational examples as well. The other day, the Prime Minister mentioned a person from Karnataka. He is actually, what we can say, Rakano. He is going after the goats. And during these 14 years, this man has dug approximately 40 lakes. 40 lakes, just imagine. One man has carved out 40 lakes full of water now. What is this? Hats off to this man. I have two very distinct examples I would like to give. And both these pictures are available on the Facebook. First picture of a young man, hale and hearty, strong. He goes to the railway station, he goes behind the railway platform, and then he picks up his one leg. He is wearing a lungi. He picks up his one leg, he ties his one leg, he bends it at the knee and ties it, and then he again leaves his lungi, and with two crutches in the hand, he comes to the platform, railway platform, and starts begging, young man. And the other example, about 65-year-old farmer, he is standing in the farm, he is plowing, he is holding that yoke, plow in his hand with his bulls and plow, he is plowing the farm. What is so great about this plowing? Definitely there's something great about the plowing. What is it? This man who is standing in the farm, in the fields, who is trying to plow his farm, he has only one leg, one limb. And the right leg, he doesn't have the right leg at all. Here, his leg is amputated, cut. And here he has tied one bamboo. Just imagine, young man who has limbs, he is hiding his limb and begging. And the person who doesn't have the limbs, he is tying a bamboo and is plowing. The other day, I saw one more. No, we have to make, technology has to be used for this purpose. Technology is a double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. It can help you and it can also cause great damage to you. The picture I remember the other day, video I remember the other day. In this video, this man he doesn't have hands. And he is holding a pickaxe. Here, like this. No hands. He is holding a pickaxe here, pikas danta, kudal, and he is digging. Heads off. Now the person who doesn't have the hands, he is digging with the help of his neck and the shoulder. And there are many young people who are just chatting, who are just wandering, who are just loitering here and there. We should feel ashamed if we are sitting idle and our parents are working. So this is positive attitude. Number 2, winning attitude. And number 3, attitude of gratitude. These 3 things are important. Your attitude, if it is positivity attitude, winning attitude and attitude of gratitude, this attitude determines the altitude of success in life. The height of your success, the altitude of your success will be decided, will be determined by your attitude. Then see William James, he says, the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude of mind. You can change your life if you change your attitude. You can change your life. This is what I said earlier. Many times people say you are useless, but you are not useless. You use less. If you take pen and paper and try to prepare the list of the things that you use less, it will be a long list. What are the things that we use less? We use less time, we use less energy, we use less pen, we use less paper, we use less books. It will be a very big list of the things that are actually very useful, but we use less. And that is the reason why we become useless. So, if at all you want to become successful, these are some of the important things that you have to keep in mind. And for self-study, we shall see in the next video what are the different methods which you can study, which you can use in your studies that will make your studies smarter. You can study for long hours. You can study with interest. And for that you have to sharpen your senses. I think we shall see in the next video the different methods of learning.